Yo, what is up, guys? It's your homeboy here, Illuminous24, bringing you another reaction video. This is going to be Constitution and Commands. This one was recommended by one of my homeboys, Jason. You know who you are, Jason. If you out there and everything, shout out to you. Hope you guys watch the video when it comes out and everything. But without further ado, this might be a little bit of a controversial part, so viewer discretion is advised, especially if you are religious and everything. You may not like it, you may like it, it may not be your cup of tea. Let me know what you guys' views are in your discussions in your comments down in the comment section below. Also, make sure you guys leave a like, comment as well, and also subscribe and turn on notifications for the channel so you guys don't miss a beat on the videos. Without further ado, enough talking, let's get into the video.
The Texas State Board of Indoctrination recently decided they're going to teach American exceptionalism, as if the U.S. was founded on Judeo-Christian values based on Moses and the Ten Commandments, despite the fact that Jewish and Christian academic scholars, along with several other experts in early American religious history, testified that not only is there no evidence to support any of that, so we can't honestly teach it, but there is substantial evidence to prove that none of that even could be true, so it would be a lie to teach that. But Texas is going to teach it anyway, because religious faith doesn't need evidence and it doesn't listen.
I didn't know that. I got to be honest, did not know that. I would do more research on that one. That's pretty interesting.
To reason, because that would be rational and religion is not. So assuming you are rational, let's ponder what it would be like if the United States Constitution really was based on the Ten Commandments. Well, we'd run into trouble right away, because the First Commandment contradicts the First Amendment. The First Commandment says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." But the First Amendment allows freedom of religion with no requirement that you have to believe in any god. Congress
Almost up and right there. Yeah, they do conflict each other. It's what I'm feeling so far in this video is that every single thing that is being said, it's gonna contradict everything that we've known throughout the Bible. Like if you go through the Ten Commandments, thou shalt have no other god but me, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not you harm, thou shalt not steal. Like all these things, all the other Ten Commandments, and it's gonna play some key role in this video. So I urge you guys, bear with it, please. Keep watching to the very end. It's very insightful. That's what I get from it so far.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. That means the state, meaning the government, cannot endorse any one religion over any other, because if they did, then every other religion or religious denomination would be reduced to a subordinate class, bowing to the faith that is imposed and endorsed by the state. That may be how they do things in some Muslim countries, but we ain't doing that here. Actually, we are doing that here, but we wouldn't be doing that if our elected officials understood and respected the Constitution. The Second Commandment says, "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image," meaning one that is sculpted or carved, "or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in..."
And if you look at that, look at Mount Rushmore. There's a lot to say. Look at Mount Rushmore. Look at all the other ones that they be making. Kobe, Michael Jordan, football players, like they make different. Give me 1 second. That was interesting, but let's get back to yesterday. Sorry about that, guys. I just had a phone call and everything from a scammer. I get those for some odd reason. I don't know why, but. When it comes down to this, like I was what they're saying, like there's different graven images of what we do for people, in our regards. Like we might not think about it, but it actually breaks that amendment. Like we're not supposed to have like carvings of people, sculptures of other people, because that is like we're bowing down and praying to that as a false idol. Oh, that's just my thought process on that so far.
In the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. The fifth verse says not to bow down to them or serve them either, but this fourth verse doesn't say that. It says you're forbidden to render any recognizable thing in any medium. Abstract art is only allowable by omission, but if you fashion a teddy bear, even if you don't worship it, God will still be jealous of it. That's what the second commandment says. So if the United States really was based on these 10 commandments, then the Statue of Liberty would be illegal, along with the frieze on the Supreme Court, where Hammurabi, Confucius, Napoleon, and Muhammad are all shown as equal influences with Moses. The third commandment says, "Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain." If this were a law in the U.S., then you'd be legally required to honor that God, even if you believe in different gods or no God at all. The U.S. would be like some Muslim countries, because Mosaic law is a lot like Sharia law. But it's not like that here, because
Let me know what you guys think about this little part. Won't say anything regarding this, but let me know what you guys think about it.
we don't have such religious laws here. I like how attorney Andrew Seidel with the Freedom from Religion Foundation put it.
We've got free speech, baby. Jesus Christ, you can say it all you want.
God damn, I love blasphemy.
Jehovah, 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 I'm warning you.
The fourth commandment says to remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The Jewish Sabbath runs.
That is true. Keep it holy. Also, why I don't work on the weekends. But I'm curious what he's going to say about this.
From
Some
Friday
people break
evening
this.
till Saturday night. And the Christian Sabbath runs all day Sunday. That means in America, it would be illegal to work on weekends at all, because the Old and New Testaments allow both, depending on interpretation. Otherwise, the Christians are in a lot of trouble. But the Bible does imply that you should murder your bartender and your convenience store clerk and the Sunday morning paper boy, the crew at McDonald's, and every salesman at the mall if they're working on weekends. This law applies to your slaves, too. Remember that the Bible both permits and promotes slavery, even in these commandments. So if our system really was based on those Judeo-Christian values, we'd still have slaves. The fifth commandment says, honor thy father and thy mother, and implies that if you do, that you will live a long life. Now, why does it say that? Because elsewhere it says that if your parents can legally kill you if you don't. So honor your father or your mother, or they will kill you. And that contradicts the sixth commandment, which says thou shalt not kill, but the Bible imposes a death penalty for like everything, just on the word of one or two witnesses. Remember when Moses came down the mountain with his commandment, and his volcano god immediately told him to kill every man and his brother, except for Moses' own brother, who was the guy who made the golden calf and therefore should have been the only one killed. But instead, we see a couple pages later that Aaron was not only spared, but promoted to priest. So the Bible contradicts itself all the time and is only consistently inconsistent. Murder is against the law in the United States, just like it was in every system of government, even before the alleged time of Moses. And remember that Moses was a murderer himself and hid the body because he already knew it was illegal, because men had already laid down that law. And remember that Cain also already knew that murder was wrong before he lied to God about what happened to his brother. So the 10 Commandments get no credit for that. The seventh commandment is thou shalt not commit adultery. Is that illegal in the United States? No, obviously not. But if it were, just think, how many times our perpetually unfaithful fornicator-in-chief would have been convicted by now? Hasn't he broken every commandment by now? The eighth commandment, thou shalt not steal, is the second of only 2 statutes unambiguously represented both in the U.S. and everywhere else since at least the time of Hammurabi, who was the original author of many of the commandments that later ended up in the book of Exodus. It's ironic, then, that Moses would steal this particular law, but he's got an alibi, because Moses himself was apparently stolen from a number of previous characters in different cultures and evidently never actually existed as a uniquely real person. The ninth commandment is thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. And some interpret this to be similar to perjury, lying under oath, but this is supposed to be a covenant that applies to life. So others interpret it as thou shalt not lie, but it can't mean that either. Because if you're never allowed to lie, then how could you have religion? The 10th commandment, not to covet thy neighbor's ass nor his wife's ass, is a thought crime. As such, it is fundamentally opposed to every notion of liberty imaginable. Free thought is the one absolute right that we have that cannot be compromised, like all the others can be. If the 10th commandment were enforced as American law, it would also undermine the basis of our capitalist economy, because keeping up with the Joneses is what our free market depends on. And that's not all. I count 14 commandments just in Exodus 20, and that list continues to grow over the next 3 chapters until Exodus 24, when Moses finally comes down from the mountain with all of the laws of the Lord. The 11th commandment is that thou shalt not make any other gods out of silver or gold, which is not the same thing as rendering any recognizable thing in any artistic medium. The 12th and 13th commandments are that thou shalt make an altar out of unhewn stone, upon which you will sacrifice your livestock, and so on, or your children, according to a later set of commandments. Because remember that the Bible doesn't call these the 10 commandments, and how could it? There are dozens of them. When the Bible finally says the 10 commandments, it's talking about the second edition, a completely different set of commandments in Exodus 34. That list actually is 10 commandments, and it's made of the first 2 from Exodus 20, paraphrased, with the 4th commandment moved into the 5th position, and the rest are taken from Exodus 21 through 23, except for one that God just made up on the spot, I guess. And they all have to do with keeping holiday traditions or ritual sacrifice, including sacrificing your own firstborn children.
Yeah. I'm so glad we don't do that no more, because that's murder. Even though people are like, no, but it's sacrifice, this is like, no. I believe in, like, life. I do not believe in taking a life, especially I have a newborn. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, Jason. Ooh. That's all I can say. Oh my God, man. Oh. But for all you guys out there that read the Bible as well, just like me, you can check out Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers with these chapters and verses. And comment down below what you guys think about that. I do feel as though this video is very insightful. It's very interesting. Froze his face out of a really weird area.
The Bible clarifies in a few places that this is what it means here, and the prophet Ezekiel lamented that people at that time interpreted it that way too. Yet strangely, the 10th commandment in that set says not to boil a baby goat in its own mother's milk, because that would be creepy compared to sacrificing your children, or indeed any animal at all, to a magic imaginary fiend. And this just begins the list of reasons why the United States is obviously and deliberately not based on any set of divine commands or religious beliefs, and was instead intentionally founded as the world's first secular nation, which is the only kind of government that can provide freedom of or from religion.
You probably already came across the viral video of Rabbi Gutman Locks.
Well, I'm curious what you guys' thought processes on that. My biggest thing that I had was when he started talking about the sacrifices and the contradictory between each part of the commandments, which there's things that I agree with and there's other things I disagree with, but it's kind of hard to put them into words. Like, this one actually left me speechless for the first time. Like, I never really was left speechless before, and yeah, this one literally got me. Like, I really couldn't say that much with it. I could just stare. I'm like, oh. But for everyone else religious, let me know what your guys' comment is. And for everyone else, comment out which part you like, which part you disagree with. down below in the comment section. And don't forget to hit that like button. Also, make sure you guys subscribe. Turn on all notifications. You guys don't miss a beat of the channel. It's free. Only thing you're doing is helping the channel grow more, and you're helping the YouTube algorithm and everything. Alright. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.